Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. Today we are continuing on with Codominance by CarlyStar09, and today we are reading chapters 37 and 38. Chapter 37, The Next Step. If getting ready with one baby was hard, with two it was almost impossible. Katsumi started crying around 5 in the morning, and Akio followed suit not even a minute later. Bakugou let out a groan as he sat up, Kirishima doing the same. "We might never sleep again," Kirishima mumbled. Bakugou couldn't help but chuckle. He couldn't help but feel as if it was worth it. Bakugou turned to kiss Kirishima good morning, a quick kiss, only for his partner to pull him towards him once more for another kiss. "The gremlins," Bakugou told him as they pulled apart. "Let's go," Kirishima grinned. They made their way to the nursery. Kirishima picked up Katsumi and Bakugou grabbed Akio, soothing both of them as they said good morning to the twins. "You two are coming to the agency with us today," Kirishima told them as they made their way to the kitchen. Both of the babies are now calmer. "It's going to be a long day, but everyone is excited to meet you," he told Katsumi. "And they already love having you around," Bakugou told Akio. It took a bit longer to get breakfast ready. They didn't have a chair for Katsumi, so they had to carry her while they got everything ready. Akio started fussing about having to be the only one seated, so they ended up having both kids in their arms. Bakugou started packing up food for Katsumi once they had eaten, making sure to follow the doctor's advice. After some thought, he doubled the amount since Akio would also need food for the day. They were done getting everything they needed ready. Kirishima left Bakugou with the kids for a bit as he changed the car seat in his car over to Bakugou's own. Bakugou was relieved they had gotten two to begin with, 2 babies in their car seats later, and they were headed to Bakugou's agency, ready to figure out what would be next. Time passes. The whole agency seemed to freeze when they walked through the door. Bakugou holding Katsumi, head held high, next to Kirishima with Akio in his own arms. They held hands as they made their way to one of the conference rooms. No one stopped them to talk. Either they could tell they weren't in the mood to explain or were too shocked to find words. Katsuki could feel the way Katsumi held onto him tighter the more people they saw. She was growing nervous with so much attention on her. He didn't blame her for it. He leaned down, kissing the top of her head. It was going to be a hard day for her. "We're waiting on Fat Gum," Bakugou told one of his assistants before they went into the conference room and shut the door. "Well, that was nerve-wracking," Kirishima said with a short laugh. "How long till everyone knows?" Bakugou grumbled. "Not long," Kirishima told him, leaning down to kiss his cheek. "Come on, let's get the pebbles settled." Bakugou nodded, heading to the playpen that had found a permanent spot in whatever room they decided to work in for the day. Akio immediately reached for one of the toys, while Katsumi refused to let go of Bakugou. "It's all right, baby girl," he told her patiently. "We're not leaving. We'll be right here." Katsumi refused to be put down. Her eyes filling up with tears was enough for Bakugou's heart to break. "Don't cry," he told her as he wiped away a stray tear. "I don't mind holding you," he told her as he hugged her close to his chest. Katsumi curled into him immediately. Bakugou looked up to find Kirishima staring at him with fondness in his eyes. "What?" he said, a bit self-conscious. "I love you," was Kirishima's response. "You're an amazing dad." Bakugou felt the blush on his cheeks. "Shut up," he mumbled into Katsumi's hair. "Make me," Kirishima grinned. Bakugou smirked, taking a couple of steps until he was closer to Kirishima. "I'm holding your daughter, so you're gonna have to lean down for me." Kirishima didn't have to be told twice, leaning down until their lips touched for a short, sweet moment. Ahem. Bakugou and Kirishima turned to find stupid Deku at the door, his face slightly red after having walked in without knocking. I thought we were having a meeting," he was able to mumble. "Get the fuck in here already, you nerd," Bakugou told him, annoyed at the interruption. "Yeah, language, I know," he told Kirishima before he walked towards the table, finding a seat close to the playpen. Kirishima sat next to him, a quick kiss on his cheek. "She's..." Wow, Midoriya said as he looked at Katsumi, who was already falling asleep against Bakugou's chest. Amazing, isn't she? Kirishima said with a smile. You two are very fortunate, Midoriya told them with a tight smile. Bakugou didn't comment on it. He knew when the nerd needed space. He couldn't even imagine how he would feel if he had found out Akio and Katsumi had. He couldn't even think about it. Not with how close they had come to the reality a couple days ago. His grip tightened slightly on Katsumi. They had to wait for Fat Gum and the others before they could begin, after all. Shoto isn't coming? Kirishima asked, changing the topic with ease. Deku shook his head. He's helping Endeavor on his end, trying to make sure no one can pretend they didn't know what was going on in that warehouse. Tell him we appreciate it, Kirishima said with a nod. I will. Deku smiled a bit more sincerely. Fat Gum is on his way. Who else is coming? Bakugou asked. Missing a day always felt so much longer. The hero world moved so fast, especially with a case like this. Mina is the only one not coming. Sarah wants her to rest a bit more, Deku told them. Bakugou nodded. It didn't take long for the others to arrive. All of them wasted no time to gush over the new little addition to the team. She looks so much like you, Bakugou, Uraraka squealed as she tried to keep a respectful distance from Katsumi. The baby was already fast asleep in Bakugou's arms, one of her hands holding onto her dad's shirt. I'm glad she is safe, Fat Gum told them with a smile, Akio already in his arms giggling away. Congratulations on the new addition to your family, Ida told them with a soft smile. Now, what's the next step in this? Shinso asked, getting everybody back on topic. What do we do now? What did we miss yesterday? Bakugou asked. A lot of chaos, Sarah told them with a sigh. Apparently, the Hero Commission doesn't like it when one of their higher-ups gets arrested. The most important thing right now is that they are going to charge him and try to expedite the process. But they want you two to keep this under wraps for a while, Fat Gum told them, frowning slightly. In other words, Kirishima started, they want us to keep Katsumi hidden from the public. Too effing late for that, Bakugou mumbled. We just walked into the agency holding her and Akio as if it was nothing. I'm not treating one of my kids as if they don't exist so that the HC has an easier time. Bakugou's eyes fell on Katsumi's sleeping face. I agree. We aren't going to keep her away from the world, Kirishima said, an arm around Bakugou. Thought you would say that, Sarah told them. That's why we told them they needed another plan. I still say this is their issue. It's not up for us to solve it for them. Uraraka huffed, her cheeks puffed up in anger. We have to remember that the only reason we aren't in trouble for what we did is because Katsumi was being kept hostage and we have evidence to show that Miyahira has connections to the organizations of villains that he can't deny. All of the work we did was helpful. Now, we either wait for whatever the Hero Commission wants to do or we do something before they can and hope that they don't come down on us for it, Deku explained. I say we do the second one, Kirishima said with a shrug. Bakugou couldn't help but grin. Wouldn't be the first time, would it, Red? I have a couple of ideas, Kirishima chuckled. Why do I feel like this is a bad idea? Sarah groaned. It was too late either way. They had announced one of their children against the Hero Commission's wishes once, and they would do it again. The only question, how would they get the word out this time? Time passes. Kirishima Eijirou had made a lot of mistakes in his life. Not confessing to Bakugou sooner was probably up there, but more than anything, the fact that his moms found out he had a child through the news was one of the worst. They deserved better than that, and so did Bakugou's parents. We should call them, Kirishima said suddenly. They had taken a break for lunch. He was feeding Katsumi while Bakugou did the same for Akio. Our parents, before they find out on TV again. You're right, Bakugou told him with a nod. The hag would kill me if it happened twice. So, when? Kirishima asked, suddenly nervous at the thought of surprising his moms with another grandchild. Bakugou seemed to think about it. He let out a groan. The sooner the better, I guess. Kirishima nodded in agreement. I'll call them up. We can have dinner together. At our place? Bakugou questioned. Do you want it to be at our place? Kirishima asked. Bakugo thought for a couple of seconds.
Yeah, it would be easier, he decided. We can leave early and get everything ready. All we need to do now is write up our reports.
Okay, tonight, our place. Should I tell them there's a surprise? Kirishima questioned.
Tell them it's more of an announcement,
Bakugo told him, already bracing himself for what was to come. Kirishima kissed Bakugo's forehead before pulling out his phone. He hesitated for a moment before dialing his mom's number. It didn't take long for her to pick up. "Hi, baby," she exclaimed cheerfully. "Hey, Mom," Kirishima said, wondering how he would even bring up the topic. "I'm so glad you called. I know you said you were busy at work and with Akio, but we wanted to ask if we could come over for a visit soon." "Actually, that's why I'm calling," he told her, clearing his throat. "We wanted to invite you to dinner tonight." "Oh, that's wonderful," his mom exclaimed. "I need to make sure your mother's schedule is clear, but other than that, we should be able to make it." "Okay, awesome." Kirishima tried to sound excited, but his nerves were coming through. "What's wrong?" Of course his mom could tell. "We just have a surprise is all." "A surprise?" His mom hummed. "Does it have anything to do with the fact that you keep saying we?" "Part of it," Kirishima chuckled. "You know we already love Katsuki. I always thought you two would end up together, and it's better for Akio for his dads to be together," his mom told him while Kirishima's face reddened. "Don't worry, I will try to act surprised." Yeah, thanks, Mom," Kirishima mumbled. After a bit more small talk, Kirishima said goodbye before hanging up. "My mom thinks we're going to be announcing that we're together," Kirishima told Bakugo.
"Oh, right. We haven't told them that part either,"
Bakugo groaned. "We're never hearing the end of this." Kirishima let out a sigh.
"You still need to call my parents,"
Bakugo reminded him. "They're your parents," Kirishima glared.
"They like you more than me."
Bakugo shrugged. Kirishima groaned, but he could never say no to Bakugo. He found Bakugo Mitsuki's number on his phone. "You owe me," he told Bakugo as the phone rang. "Hello?" "Hi, Mrs. Bakugo, how are you?" Kirishima started, suddenly nervous. Bakugo Mitsuki was not someone to mess with. That woman had a sixth sense. "Hello, Kirishima. I'm good, thank you. How are you?" she asked cheerfully. "I'm fine, thanks," Kirishima answered. "I'm calling to invite you to dinner tonight at our place." "Dinner? What did that son of mine do this time?" Mitsuki let out an annoyed sigh. Kirishima bit back a laugh. "Nothing. He's done nothing wrong. We have an announcement, that's all." "Huh, an announcement?" Mitsuki questioned. "Yeah, and we thought you could see Akio. My moms are coming along," Kirishima added. "Oh, dear, send me the information," Mitsuki told him. "Let me know if you need me to take anything. I do have some clothes I got for Akio recently." "Thank you so much," Kirishima told her. He wished she knew about Katsumi. Mitsuki would probably arrive with so many clothes for her if she knew. "We'll see you tonight then," Mitsuki told him. "And tell my son that he should be the one calling me." "I will," Kirishima told her with a chuckle. Kirishima hung up the phone, turning to look at Bakugo with a grin.
"So they're coming?"
"Yep," Kirishima told him. "Now, how are we going to tell them?" Time passes. They got home early. Their reports were the only thing they had pending. They needed to submit them the next day. They got home, Akio was fast asleep while Katsumi was wide awake. They needed to get them on the same sleep schedule, but they would worry about that later. Bakugo started cleaning up right away as Kirishima got on the phone to order food. They had decided to order something simple, sushi with as many sides as they could get. He made sure to order the ones that Bakugo said his parents liked. They didn't know how they would introduce Katsumi, but hopefully her cuteness would be enough to save them from being killed by their parents.
"They should be here in about an hour or so,"
Bakugo commented as he looked at the clock nervously. "Katsumi is still awake," Kirishima told him. "She might be napping when they arrive."
"Either way, Akio should be up soon as well,"
Bakugo pointed out, looking at the playpen where Akio was sleeping. Bakugou sat on the couch, patting the spot next to him for Kirishima to join him. Kirishima did so without question, Katsumi in his arms. She was looking at them with her wide red eyes. Bakugou wondered if she couldn't believe where she was yet. She had been through so much. Maybe she just didn't believe she was saved yet.
"You're beautiful, baby girl,"
Bakugou told her as he tried to flatten her hair a bit with his hand. "She is a little you," Kirishima laughed.
"She's prettier than I ever was,"
Bakugou answered.
"She's half you, after all."
Kirishima let out a hum as he leaned into Bakugou a bit more. "I say one of us should walk in with her in our arms and wait to see how long it takes our parents to notice." Bakugou snorted.
"I don't think it would be that hard for them to notice."
"I'm throwing out ideas," Kirishima said as he offered his hand to Katsumi, who wrapped her hand around his fingers almost immediately. They stayed like that for a while, enjoying their quiet little family before they had to explain how they had 2 kids instead of 1. Their story was becoming wilder by the day. Then again, they wouldn't have it any other way. Akio woke up, whimpering slightly. Bakugou picked him up, placing him on his chest as he joined Kirishima once more. They were complete. The doorbell rang too soon for their liking. They had scheduled for food to arrive a while after their parents, so they knew it was time. Kirishima turned to look at Bakugou. "You ready?"
"As ready as I'll ever be,"
he mumbled, handing Akio to Kirishima.
"Stay here. I'll bring them over."
"Okay," Kirishima told him with a nod. Bakugou leaned down, kissing him softly. Once, twice.
"It'll be okay."
Bakugou walked to the front door, Riot already standing in front of it to see who was on the other side.
"Come on,"
he said as he grabbed Riot's collar to pull him back. He opened the door. His parents were there with Kirishima's. At least they wouldn't have to do it twice.
"Did you carpool or something?"
he said as a greeting. It still shocked him that his and Kirishima's parents were so close. "Yes," Mitsuki told him with an eye roll. "Hello to you too, brat." He greeted everyone, letting them come inside before he let go of Riot. "Where's my grandson?" Masaru said with a big smile. Bakugou opened his mouth and then closed it. They may as well see it themselves. Why even try to prepare them for it?
"He's in the living room with A."
"Well, I'm going to go say hello," Ryu said as she tried to push past the other grandparents to be the first to see him. "We better hurry, or she won't let us hold him all night," Tomoko half joked.
"I don't think that will be a problem,"
Bakugou mumbled to himself as everyone else headed towards the living room. He heard the gasp before he saw everyone frozen, staring at Kirishima and the babies. Akio already reached out for one of his grandparents to pick him up, while Katsumi was clinging to Kirishima shyly. Bakugou grinned at Kirishima, who looked nervous. No one seemed to move for what felt like an eternity. "Surprise?" Kirishima tried, laughing awkwardly.
"Meet your granddaughter, Katsumi,"
Bakugou told them, pushing past them to take Katsumi in his arms. She went rather easily, even if she did bury her face against his neck almost immediately.
"We rescued her 2 days ago,"
he explained. "2?" Tomoko was able to say. "Twins," Kirishima confirmed. "I need a drink," Mitsuki told them. "We wanted you to find out before the media this time," Kirishima explained. "She's beautiful," Ryu told them. Suddenly all 4 of them seemed to break out of their trance, rushing forward to welcome Katsumi to the family. Masaru took Akio in his arms as they all greeted him as well. Bakugou went to stand next to Kirishima, their hands finding each other now that their parents were distracted. Their other news could wait a bit longer. Chapter 38. The Lost.
"I'm not sure about this."
Bakugou let out a sigh as he parked the car, glancing at his kids in the back seat. "We may as well do it now. We need to get Katsumi clothes anyway," Kirishima told him, reaching for Bakugou's hand. "We need to do this before the Hero Commission can say anything about how we raise our kids." Bakugou nodded.
"Let's go then."
"Mina and Sero are waiting for us," Kirishima reminded him. They got out of the car, each of them going to get one of the kids out of their car seats. Akio and Katsumi were wide awake. Akio was placed on the stroller and Katsumi on the baby carrier against Kirishima's chest. They also needed a double stroller, and Bakugou made a mental note of it.
Did they tell you where they were?
Bakugou asked as he leaned towards Kirishima for a kiss, and then he kissed the top of Katsumi's head. By the entrance, Kirishima told him.
Let's get going then,
Bakugou mumbled. He knew they would get spotted within seconds if they hadn't already. It was all about pretending they didn't know they were going to be spotted. They walked into the shopping center. This was a normal shopping trip. It was nothing but them taking their baby's clothes shopping. Everything else will come later, he kept reminding himself. He eyed the doors anxiously. They hadn't taken Akio shopping with them yet, and now they were taking two babies at once. He felt Kirishima's hand over his on the stroller, reassuring him as they made their way towards the doors. Akio seemed excited, babbling away at everything. Meanwhile, Katsumi seemed content being close to Kirishima. He spotted Ashido and Sero waiting for them. They smiled as soon as they spotted their happy family heading their way. "It's the Bakugous," Sero said teasingly. "The Kirishimas," Ashido corrected. "They named Akio Kirishima after all." "Ah, very true," he said, as if correcting himself, wrapping an arm around his girlfriend. "Fiancé," Sero corrected himself.
"Shut up,"
Bakugou told them, but there was a fondness in his voice. "Love you too, Blasty," Ashido told him with a chuckle. "Can I hold Akio?" she asked excitedly. "Later," Kirishima told her. "We want to, His eyes looked around the area, trying to spot a camera. Okay, I'll be good," Ashido said with a dramatic pout. "You can hold them later," Kirishima assured her. They tried to appear as normal as possible, walking into the department store and heading to the baby department as a group. "What first?" Sero asked them as he looked around.
"Clothes,"
Bakugou told him. "We've been dressing her with Akio's," Kirishima explained. "This is why I am here." Ashido grinned, heading straight for the big puffy dresses.
"Oi, remember that she needs to be able to crawl,"
Bakugou called out after her. "She's gone. She won't hear anything until she has at least 10 outfits picked out," Sero told him. "That's cute, though," he added as Ashido picked up an overall jean dress. "Are you guys going to buy anything today?" Kirishima asked Sero. "No, we're going to look around. We're planning on getting a new apartment or a house. We're not sure yet, but we need a room for the nursery. Would be nice to have our own first home at the same time."
"They're selling a house close to ours,"
Bakugou suddenly chimed in. Kirishima smiled at him at the comment, while Sero's eyes went wide with shock. "Is Bakugou Katsuki, the great explosion murder god Dynamite, saying he wants to be our neighbor?" Sero asked, his smug grin growing wider with each word.
"Fuck off,"
Bakugou told him, walking towards Ashido before Kirishima could tell him anything about his choice of words. Ashido already had an armful of clothes, a smile pulling at her lips as she held them up to show Bakugou. "What do you think?"
"They're nice,"
Bakugou responded. "Nice? Just nice? You need to learn how to shop before Katsumi grows up," Ashido told him, the teasing clear in her tone.
"I know how to shop,"
Bakugou grumbled. "Look, all I know is that my baby is going to have a lot of hand-me-downs, so the clothes you get your kids better be cute and stylish," Ashido shrugged.
"Who said anything about giving you hand-me-downs?"
Bakugou huffed. Ashido laughed. They continued talking, looking over the outfits Ashido had grabbed, Sero and Kirishima getting some more nearby. Soon they had a shopping cart with a good amount of clothes. That's when Bakugou noticed the first camera lens, pointed right at them. He tried his best not to react, turning towards Kirishima and calling him over. "Yes, sweetheart?" Kirishima said as he came up to Bakugou. Bakugou took a step closer, kissing Kirishima before whispering as he pulled away.
We've been spotted.
Kirishima seemed to understand exactly what to do after that. He lifted Katsumi out of the carrier. Hold Katsumi for a bit. Sero and I are going to see about that stroller. I might need to carry it. Bakugou took Katsumi without hesitation, kissing her cheek.
Okay, remember, one that has them side by side and not one behind the other.
Got it, Kirishima told him as he went to get Sero. Ashido gave him a look and nodded.
You want to get Akio out of the stroller for me, please? He asked. I want to make sure he doesn't need a diaper change.
Ashido wasted no time. She kneeled, unbuckling Akio. Hi, my favorite boy, she said sweetly. Do you need to get your diaper changed? She asked as she helped Bakugou move towards where Kirishima and Sero were. They pretended to fuss over the babies as they noticed more people looking their way. Bakugou kissed Katsumi's head. Kirishima showed him a stroller with a grin, asking him if he liked it. Bakugou smiled back. At least they were getting things done. Time passes. The news of them with a second baby spread faster than the first. The internet was going wild with speculations and theories. No one seemed to understand why the hero couple had hidden the fact that they had 2 babies instead of 1. Others believed that Akio being announced was an accident due to being caught on an outing with him. Katsumi got a lot of attention in the middle, her pictures being shared at record speed. They ignored all of it. They ignored it as they headed home after their shopping trip, and continued ignoring it as they spent the evening as a family. This might be their last quiet night in a while, and they were going to enjoy it if it was the last thing they did. Kirishima made sure to kiss Bakugou every time he came close to him. Lips, cheek, forehead, anywhere he could reach, because they both needed the reminder that they were in this together. They busied themselves arranging the nursery with everything they had purchased. Akio and Katsumi would share a room until they were a bit older, and that meant moving things around to accommodate double the furniture to some extent. Should we paint half of the room pink? Kirishima asked as he looked at the now divided closet. There was a lot of pink in Katsumi's portion. That was mostly due to Ashido.
I don't think so,
Bakugou mumbled as he kicked Al out of the room yet again. Al had become rather curious about everything going on and kept getting in the way of what they were doing.
We can paint when they're older. I don't think it will fucking matter now.
Language, Kirishima told him with a soft smile.
Who are you kidding, love? They're my kids. They will learn how to swear sooner rather than later.
Bakugou huffed, but he grinned as he moved towards Kirishima. Kirishima took that extra step to be able to wrap his arms around his partner. Let me keep the illusion a bit longer, he pleaded playfully as he cupped Bakugou's face in one of his hands.
Kiss me and I'll consider it,
Bakugou challenged. Kirishima didn't have to be told twice. He leaned down and kissed Bakugou as if it was his first time in weeks. He would never tire of kissing Bakugou Katsuki. Da! Da 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 da! Akio started to chant from his playpen.
Yes, gremlin number 1,
Bakugou said with a short laugh as he pulled away from Kirishima, but not before another quick peck.
What do you need?
They had placed the babies in the same playpen. Katsumi seemed to be warming up to Akio. Meanwhile, Akio was already sharing and trying to play with his sister as if they had never been apart. Da! Akio said once more, followed by a lot of babbling. Kirishima looked around the room, his eyes falling on the family of shark plushies. He couldn't help but smile. He had his family, and there was nothing that could separate them ever again. Time passes. Todoroki had hoped Bakugou and Kirishima were happy with the chaos they had created. He was standing to the side as he witnessed the way everyone seemed to be in a panic, trying to either find a solution to the media storm going on or stop it altogether. It was too late now to stop it. It was clear by how Katsumi's face was everywhere by now. The Lost Princess read every other headline. Todoroki didn't know how Bakugou or Kirishima were royalty, So he had to make sure to ask them if he should change how he addressed them the next time he saw them. For now, he was trying to figure out how the Hero Commission planned to deal with this. He had been there to turn in some paperwork and was lucky enough to arrive as the pictures first started getting published. He was asked to wait as he saw everyone going to alert someone or another. He wasn't sure how long he was there until he heard someone behind him. "Excuse me, Mr. Shoto?" Todoroki turned to find a nervous-looking sidekick he had met once or twice.
"You work with Deku, right?"
he asked right away. "Yes, sir," the inter told him, his eyes excited at being recognized. "Deku sent me to ask if you would be any longer?" Todoroki looked at everything going on around him and let out a sigh.
"I think I'll head out for today,"
he declared. "Well, in that case, Mr. Deku asked if you could meet him in the conference room C. He is still working on a case and needs some assistance." Todoroki nodded. He needed to make sure Deku had something to eat. He had barely touched his breakfast that morning while drinking almost a whole pitcher of coffee. Todoroki made his way over, opening the door to find his boyfriend surrounded by files once more as he mumbled to himself about something or another.
"What do you need help with, Izuku?"
Todoroki asked as he made his way over. That was enough for Midoriya to look up at him, a smile on his lips. Midoriya ran a hand through his green hair as he tried to decide where to start. "One of the villains that we caught during the raid wants to talk to me. Well, us, refuses to talk to anyone else," he said, his frown growing deeper with each word. "He actually said he wanted to talk with either of us, but I don't think I would be able to do it alone, so I want you to go with me. I don't want to send you on your own either, unless you want to go by yourself." Todoroki placed a hand on Midoriya's cheek, and Midoriya stopped talking as he looked at him. The fear and worry was clear in his eyes.
"We'll go together,"
Todoroki assured him, leaning their foreheads together. He felt Midoriya take a much-needed calming breath. "Thanks, Sho," Midoriya told him.
"Now,"
Todoroki said as he pulled away slightly,
"what information do you have on this guy?"
Midoriya didn't skip a beat, already listing things he had found about the villain. His name was Haku Seiko. Not much of a track record before being caught in the raid. He had been a petty thief with a habit of breaking into houses. His quirk was metal bending, so he could make copies of keys. It worked for a while until he set off a silent alarm.
"Do you have any clue what he wants to talk to us about?"
Todoroki asked as they walked towards the interrogation room Haku was waiting for them in. "He won't say a word to anyone other than he wants to talk to us," Midoriya explained nervously.
"That's never good."
Todoroki let out a sigh. They walked into the interrogation room. Haku turned to look at them, eyes going wide as he spotted them. "Finally," he said with clear relief. Midoriya sat across from him, a notebook already in front of him to write down anything the villain revealed. Todoroki stood next to his boyfriend, crossing his arms as he waited for Haku to start talking. "I'm so glad you're here," he said with a bit of a relieved laugh. "I've been trying to talk to you since I was arrested." "We're here now," Midoriya started, looking at Haku with caution. "What is it you need to tell us?" "Look, I need you to promise me. No, I need you to swear that no one will know I told you this. I shouldn't even... Hell, I'm already going to be locked away for a while. I can't risk having a bigger target on me, I guess." Haku let out a short laugh. "I hope I'm doing the right thing here."
"What do you mean?"
Todoroki asked. Fuck, where do I even start?" Haku mumbled to himself, trying to lift a hand before remembering that he was handcuffed to the table. "I worked there for money, man." "You were still complicit to everything going on in there," Midoriya told him, his voice tone harsh. "Once you were a part of it, the only way out was death," Haku said, but it wasn't an argument, it was a statement. "I hated being there. I used to work with the kids, you know? I had to make sure they were taken care of. Then they started going missing. I was so stupid. thinking they were being taken off somewhere or something. He shook his head.
Why are you telling us this?
Todoroki asked, seeing how Haku's words were making Midoriya tense up. I was told to get rid of one, Haku said, his eyes meeting Midoriya's then. A small boy, green hair, mismatched eyes too. He added as he looked at Todoroki. They had been trying to make powerful villains after all. Said he was quirkless. But how do they know when he was so small? Like, it takes years to know, right? Midoriya's hand turned to a fist, his quirk starting to show in flashes as he tried to control himself at those words. I couldn't do it, he said in a hurry. I couldn't do it to the little guy. I took him home. No one asked what I did to him after that. I just said it was taken care of. What? Midori asked, his voice surprisingly low. I was hiding him, of course, Haku explained. One of my neighbors, an old lady that doesn't ask any questions, takes care of him. I told her he was my nephew and his parents had run out on him. She thinks I travel for work, but I don't know how long she will wait before she wonders if I left the kid too, you know?
You didn't kill him?
Todoroki asked. What? Do I look that heartless to you? They usually just told the doctors to do it, but I guess they were busy that day, and I had a baby in my hands, and I didn't know what to do with it. Where is he? Midoriya asked. Tell me where he is. Swear no one will know, Haku countered. If you're lying, Midoriya trailed off. I'm not, I swear it, Haku insisted. I don't want the kid to be taken to an orphanage or some shit, you know? I saw how Riot and Dynamite took those kids, and I thought maybe you two, I don't know. I thought the kid deserved a fighting chance.
Give us the location. If what you are saying is true and he is safe, we will see how we can help you,
Todoroki said, his hand on Midoriya's shoulder. He could feel his boyfriend shaking under him. Haku nodded, and he gave them the information they needed. As soon as they had the information, Midoriya headed for the door. Todoroki followed after him, grabbing his arm and pulling him to a halt.
Izuku, calm down,
he said as softly as he could. We need to hurry. We have to...
I know,
Todoroki told him.
We will head over right this minute, but I need to make sure that you're okay. He might be lying after all.
Midoriya shook his head. He didn't seem to find the words to argue or even agree. Todoroki was always worried about Midoriya the most when he couldn't find the words to say what he was thinking.
Let's head over, Todoroki decided. We will let my father know where we are. That way we have our backs covered if something happens.
Midoriya nodded. Todoroki took his boyfriend's hand and started walking towards the nearest exit. They could take his car. They had at least a half an hour's drive if there was no traffic. Midoriya squeezed his hand. Todoroki hoped that they weren't being sent on a wild goose chase. Time passes. Midoriya kept replaying the conversation in his head the whole way to the apartment building Haku had told them to go to. Apartment 405, where the old lady Haku had called Obasan Suki lived. Midoriya's stomach was a nervous wreck. He didn't want to get his hopes up. He didn't even know what he would do if it was true. All he knew was that if at least one of those children was alive, just one, he would be able to breathe a bit easier.
We're here,
Todoroki told him as he parked. Midoriya looked up at the building. It was a regular apartment building, if not a bit run down. He got out of the car, trying his best not to run ahead. Todoroki's hand found his, and it was the only thing keeping him grounded. What are we going to say? Midoriya said, mostly to himself, as they reached the door of the apartment. Todoroki shrugged.
We'll figure it out.
He knocked on the door twice, and they waited. They could hear shuffling coming from inside the apartment, and a muffled, "Coming!" Midoriya was getting more anxious by the second. He took a calming breath as he tried to think of what to say, what to do. His mind raced in so many different directions that he couldn't keep up with it. That's when the door opened. An older lady stood there with a green-haired baby in her arms, one eye blue and the other green. His cheeks were covered in freckles. Midoriya let out a breath, and he heard Todoroki's gasp next to him. The tears started flowing before he could even think of stopping them. He was going to make sure that little boy had everything he could offer. Oh my gosh, friends, I'm so excited that we just did these 2 chapters. I love this for them. I have been so anxiously waiting to share with you guys that there was actually a Deku baby. Todo Deku baby, I guess I should say. They weren't all like, you know, so sad, but they weren't like there's one for them. And I've been so excited to share it. It's like we've had birth upon baby, you know, for the last few chapters, and I'm so here for it. All right, friends, thank you so much for joining me for this chapter. We have 1 chapter left. Well, technically 2 chapters left, but 1 video left. And again, as I've said the past few videos, thank you so much for taking this journey with me. See you next time.